Hey guys, sorry about the wait. And like I said, if you guys missed you guys missed my comments from earlier. I did a Windows update yesterday, which is a big securities update for Windows, and I can't get to my start panel. So, you know at the bottom left where you click on your Windows and to get your control panels, your start panel, the menu, I can't even get that. And so I have to do a go back to a restore point later today. I lost my post-it notes. I mean, I can't access a lot of stuff today, and so just FYI. So if you guys are listening in and you're like, oh, Blake's on break, what happened? I don't hear anything. That's what's happening right now. So I feel a little disheveled at the moment because things are not working as they should be, which is obviously when you're a trader, what I've always learned in my experience is when you are trading and oh, you know what I'll do? I can probably do this. I can't even get to my Word document. I can actually pull up another document. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay. Here. On break. Back in a few minutes. Okay. So next time I go on break, I'll put this up.
Hey Blake.
Yo.
I was able to get into my stuff, Lightwave and WiseTrade.
Just now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Let me see if I can get onto mine. It might be with my new Windows update too.
I bet you that's what it is.
Were you able to get into WiseNet?
That I cannot do. Did you get I got an error that says my username and password did not match.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Okay.
See, I'll get the same error. See, it says unable to register with Wise WF Stream. Down,
Yeah.
you can't see them. That's the error I get. I've been getting that since yesterday. So it probably is not a. I'm assuming it's not a widespread issue.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's because I did the update, but it's gonna affect people when they do updates. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So thanks.
See you in a bit.
Thanks. Okay. So I'm going to save that while we're on break, but I'm not on break right now because we're going to get to analysis. But anyway, yeah. So it's been kind of a mess as far as this goes. Anyway, let's get through this stuff. Let's get through all the analysis. I'm just going to run through all the charts. So here's the euro. All right. Now the euro, we had obviously a big rally yesterday, and we rallied right to resistance. And you can see we came. Well, we actually pushed past through resistance. We went up towards the 618. I actually shorted the euro yesterday at 112.42. I think is where I shorted it, and I ended up getting out at like 48 or something. I just basically got out for a couple pip loss. But you'll notice that we're stalling just shy of the 618 retracement, which comes in at 112.75, which that's going to be pretty key resistance today. Like I said, earlier, there's no real data coming out today. So the question is going to be, will we push through and continue on what we did yesterday? It was a really bad ISM number. With the ISM numbers that both came out. Both the services and the manufacturing data that came out, yesterday and then last week. That's really weakened the chances of the Fed raising rates this month. So last I saw it somewhere in the teens, where the chances of the Fed raising rates. Now, if we do break through the 112.75 level, which is the 618 retracement. Let me get rid of this too. We don't need that for right now. Okay. The next move is going to take us up to the 786, which would be, 113.14. I think that's going to be, I'm going to write that down just in, I'm going to write that down just in case we continue higher. So 113.15, and we are still in just kind of a range environment. All right, support. On the way down, if we start pulling back, this breakout point is probably going to offer us some support intraday. Because if there's people short, ahead of yesterday's news that might be short down here, they're probably looking for the exits on any dip. So 111.80 should offer some support. Okay. 111.80. None of them are really good levels. Maybe this resistance level is a key one at 112.75, but we could very easily push past that today. Also keeping in mind that we have the Bank of England inflation report and hearings coming up. That's a big deal, because if that ends up being pound positive, okay, it could spur dollar weakness across the board. So if the cable, which we're going to go into right now, if the cable ends up pushing up towards 135, all right, that's going to drag that euro higher towards the 112, 112.75, if not 113 resistance as well. Speaking of the cable, all right, so let's get rid of this. That was kind of our breakout point from yesterday, but excuse me really quick, I just sneeze. Okay, all right. So on any pullback, let's go back over to a 4-hour chart. On any pullback, this, you can see that previous triangle, that trend line that was there, it was holding us up, right? It was holding us up pretty good, all right, until we broke out. Now, any move back down here to this breakout point is going to be should be very good support today. Now it comes in at 132.75. All right, so 132.75 should be support today, and that should be pretty key support actually. Now resistance is going to be 134.50, which is the overnight high right here, right? 134.45, but I can just write 134.50 and 135. All right, and while we're below 135, it's still bearish. But remember, 135 is key. Break above 135, we should see. If we break above 135, we should see 136.40 real quick. Okay, if we break above that. I don't know if we're going to do that today. I'm just saying that just in general. All right. Let's go over to the Swissy. So the Swissy fell pretty aggressively. We're down at the 618 or close to the 618 retracement. That comes in at 96.70. That should offer us some support today. 96.70. That is the 618, so it's a key level support. You can see it right through here. See, we're starting to develop some long wicks here, and this is also, probably some really key support coming through here, between here and here. Excuse me. Okay. Now, any rally probably will be capped. See these long wicks over here? That one was obviously during the news. That was during NFP. Okay. Any move back up to 97.60 probably offer us some resistance for today. We are in a range. Let's go over to the yen. Trying to catch up a little bit. So here's the dollar yen. We got destroyed the last couple of days. That head and shoulder pattern played out, obviously following the ADP, that weak ADP number. We've moved down to the 618. We also found some support here, right ahead of actually right there. Let's get rid of this. Well, you know what? We might need that. We may actually need that soon. Okay, so 101.20 should offer some really good support today. That's near the lows. Okay, so I'm going to put 101.20, and if we break that, we should challenge 100. We should. Now, Paul was talking earlier how he wanted to get short some dollar yen. Well, if you're in the same camp as Paul Franco, and you're like, okay, I want to short some dollar yen. Question is, where do you do it? All right, so my opinion here. We already did this. That never happened. So if we get a move here back up to this neckline, actually we'll probably stop at that spike right there, but we get a move back up to 102.75. That's the place where you want to be short, I think. I wouldn't want to short it here. We may be flagging, but better opportunity would be short way the hell up here. All right, 102.75. And we are still in a bearish trend. Obviously, the rejection from 104 has put us back in our bearish trend. Remember, this is a bearish trend that's been intact for a long time. We were challenging that resistance, that channel resistance last week, couldn't break out, put the bear trend right back in play. All right, let's go over to the Canadian. Now we have the Bank of Canada today. Now the BOC did not cut rates last time. They're not expected to cut rates. They're not expected to cut rates today. Okay, but if the market is looking, if the Bank of Canada is looking at recent Canadian data and thinking that they may have to do a little bit of work, especially with the Canadian currency strengthening a lot over the last few months, they may really try to talk down the recent strength of the Canadian currency. So there's a chance. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a chance that we could see a dovish slant for the Bank of Canada today. So the way we should look at this, and hopefully we don't make this move ahead of the BOC, but any move above 128, 128.85 right here, which would be the you can see a 4-hour little tweezer bottoms right there that didn't play out. But if any move above 128.85, I think that's the number we wrote down yesterday. That is going to start squeezing the dollar Canadian. And frankly, if we can get above there and crude oil is selling off, I'm all about buying the dollar Canadian. If crude oil sells off and the Bank of Canada is really dovish, we're going to come flying right through here. And if we do that, then we're going to start to see another squeeze. And then what that means is this yellow trend line that, by the way, this yellow trend line spawns back for, a couple years. Not a couple years, I guess. Here, let's delete this. Draw it again. Oops. Goes back from, I guess it is a couple years, July of 2014. So we got a 2-year trend line. that means that this trend line is very, very ultimately like very important for the Canadian. Now, if the dollar Canadian breaks 128, that is going to be extremely bearish. I'm going to put multiple asterisks there because, if the Bank of Canada is very, they're dovish, or they're relatively hawkish, more hawkish than expected, and then we just see crude oil maybe rallies. This dollar Canadian comes through 128. We should test 125 and then beyond in the coming months. Now that's going to play into dollar weakness across the board, but that's something I think we all should pay attention to. If the dollar Canadian breaks through 128, it's going to be game on with Canadian strength. You have to start thinking the Canadian is going to be bullish across the board. Okay. All right. Now, we are in a range right now, but below here, dollar Canadian's bearish. Above here, it's bullish. All right, guys, I'm going to put you on break for just here. I got to do this right here. There you go. And let me. Okay. There we go. So I'll be back in a few minutes. You guys don't go anywhere. And Joe, no, I got out of my Euro Canadian and my dollar Canadian yesterday. Okay, back in a few. All right, guys and gals, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. If you guys are coming in a little bit late and you've missed some of this, I actually have to go to a restore point because I did a major Windows update yesterday afternoon. It was a big securities update, and it actually took my computer. And this computer is, like, when I restart this computer restarts in literally 30 seconds, maybe less, maybe like 20 seconds. Wait, you guys, hold on one second, please. Sorry, stand by. Sorry about that, traders. I had to take a real quick phone call. All right, so yeah. Anyway, if you guys are kind of get you guys up to date, I did a securities update on Windows, and dude, I have to do a restore point today. So it was a real big mess. It's a real big mess. I can't see my, over here down below. I can't see my Windows. My Windows bar disappeared. Like the Cortana, like I can't, go to the Cortana on AskBar. So therefore, I can't get to a lot of my programs. It's crazy. So I'm gonna have to do a restore point a little bit later. Yeah, just letting you guys all know. It's
Blake.
Yes.
Do you have the little key on your keyboard for the little Windows icon?
Yeah, that doesn't work. Yep, that doesn't work. Yeah, tried that, everything. I can actually pull up, like, I can go over to my documents right here, like right here, and I can search for control panel, and I can get it. So that's how I'm going to get to my restore point.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, today. All right, thanks. All right. Anyway, yeah, I kind of did some digging a little earlier to figure that one out, so I know kind of what I got to do. I'll probably have to do it about an hour after this webinar is over because I don't want to do it while the market's going freaking haywire over the next couple hours. Anyway, that's a tale of my day. So hopefully I'll be in better spirits come later on today. All right, so here's the Kiwi. Now, one of the things about the Kiwi's just been absolute terror. We hit a 50% retracement on a weekly and monthly basis. So if you look at this is a daily chart of a lot of data, okay? We're at a 50% retracement, at least based on the information that I have. Now, if you go over to TradingView, their data is a little off, a little different. So their 50% retracement comes up above 75 cents. But mine came up at 74.70, which, by the way, we did stop at today. Now that doesn't really mean anything. What's more important is what happens from here. We flew through 127% extension. We are trying to develop some sort of reversal candle right now, and as you can see, we have an hour left of this possible shooting star. So we're going to have to watch this one pretty carefully. All right. I think we can make it up to 74.90, which would be 161% extension. It is possible. So I'm going to write down 0.7490 because that number I'm sure of. That number I'm sure of because that is 161% extension of this move. All right. So, we can get to 74.90. All right, as possible. Now support is going to be key at 74 cents. All right. If for some reason we break back below 74 cents, then we will know that this was a false breakout to the upside. I don't think that's going to be the case today, but you never know. All right. I want to put it is trying to turn bullish, the Kiwi. That's, what? Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that for today. It might go back to the range, depends on what happens today, but that's starting to turn bullish. Let's go over the Aussie. Now, the Aussie is not bullish. The GDP numbers came in a little weaker than expected. We couldn't break above this resistance, but as you can see, this 77 cents is going to be huge. Why is it going to be big? It's because it's a major trend line also that comes through. It's a big triangle trend line. Now, I'm more concerned with a move above 77 55, 77.60, but 77 is big resistance. 77.50, that is key. All right. Now, as far as the Aussie goes, let's go back over to the hourly. Okay. You can see that the hourly chart, we're going to have a trend line that really comes into play somewhere around here. All right. So 76.50 is got to hold for got to hold for bulls. And we are still in a range, but we are threatening to turn bullish, especially if, obviously if we can break out. All right, let's go over to the dollar index. Now, one of the things about the dollar index, you guys are going to have to watch very carefully, is we're getting close to support. Wow, the euro looks weak here, huh? All right. So let's go over to the dollar index and let's go over to the daily chart. Now, the daily chart is trying to create a hammer right off of channel support. So this is, here, let's go over to a 4 hour. This will give us a better view. It's early in the day. We're trying to create a bit of a hammer, but I'm going to write down 94.60, just a little bit below the lows. 94.60 is going to be major support. 94.60, major support. Okay. Resistance is going to be any move back up here. Let's see, that's part of the fib. Yep. Actually, all these spike lows, so they'll be 97. Let's call it 95.20. 95.20 is resistance. It's not great resistance, but it is resistance. Okay, we're in a range for now. But I'll tell you guys, if we break below here, the dollar index will turn bearish. All right, on a break below, it will turn bearish. All right, let's go over to the peso. So the peso, yesterday, we stopped at a 618 retracement. We were getting really oversold. The wise traders were notified about that. And So that's going to be really key support here. Let's just take this down here. That support is basically 1825. That is key. All right, resistance. Any move up to, and you can see this trend line here. Let me move this over a little bit. Okay. See this trend line right through here? Any move back up to 1845 will be really good resistance. 18.4500. We are in a range. Let's go over to the Nordic currencies. Here's the Norwegian krona. So the Norwegian krona back down at pretty key support. I mean, if you look at the daily chart, you know, right now that's not much of anything. A little bit of a doji or whatever, but obviously 812 is major. I mean, there's no if and or buts about that. If the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona breaks 812, the Norwegian krona will be an extremely strong currency. Okay, it's going to be a currency that I think I'm going to own. You know, one of my colleagues over at Forex Analytics is extremely bullish the Norwegian economy, Stelios Kanto, and he is he's long the Norwegian krona on crosses. Oh wow, are you guys watching? Hold on. Is crude oil breaking lower? Holy cow, are you guys watching crude? Mm-hmm. I'll get to that here in a second. All right, resistance right now is 825, 824 actually. We're gonna have to take a look at crude. Hold on, before I'm done here. We're in a range. Let's go look at crude oil really quick. Did you see how crude is just selling off right now? That's a 5-minute chart. What happened to crude? Well, no one was looking. See, the problem with crude, and I know I said it yesterday, I tweeted about it yesterday, it's the thing about crude is it didn't, I mean, it rallied yesterday, but didn't rally much. Like Sully goes, crude rallied yesterday. Yeah, but it did. If you saw gold and silver and the other commodities, they rallied substantially. Crude should have capitalized on that dollar weakness. Crude should have been up 4% yesterday. Crude was up like 1% yesterday. And that lack of rally that crude had, that was, in my opinion, very bearish. And so, you know, when you look at the crude, I mean, we went, you know, we went from what, 44.50 to 45.40. So we rallied 1%. Big freaking deal. The dollar was down like over 1%, almost universally across the board. That's a huge move for the dollar. So like I said, crude should have been trading up here, maybe even breaking out, but it didn't. And because it didn't, that just showed you the sheer weakness of crude. And it's coming through the markets today. All right, anyway, yeah, so watch crude. If it wasn't the, if the Bank of Canada wasn't in an hour, if the Bank of Canada was in an hour, the dollar Canadian would probably be trading up towards 129 right now, or 128.80, towards that resistance. But with the BOC coming up, it's hard for, you know, it's hard for traders to be selling too much Canadian currency right now. Okay, what am I at? Where am I doing? We had to go to the Swedish krona. Let's go over to the Swedish krona. I'm going to take some questions as soon as I'm done here. U.S. dollar, Swedish krona. So the U.S. dollar, Swedish krona came down to the 618, and we held. Relative strength was divergent, so it didn't allow for a further push lower. So that means 844 is going to be key today. Support, if that breaks, it's going to get probably pretty gnarly to the downside. That's pretty big support. Resistance is going to be back up here. I mean, I would say it's actually right there. So any move back up to 851, we'll find sellers. 8.51. All right, and we're in a range. All right, guys, your bias chart is done despite me lacking some of my tools that I have here. Let me go ahead and take some questions.